What's going on, guys? Tune into the very first ever Justin Henry Show live here on the Champions Round YouTube channel, Twitch channel. You guys name it. I appreciate you guys tuning in. We're going to be covering a lot on this show. Today, we're going to be talking specifically about the NFL draft, the offseason, NBA playoffs, the offseason for the NBA. It's starting to get interesting for a few guys in the league right now. And a lot of them are setting up these podcasts too. So we're going to talk about that. But obviously, it's Friday. It's April. This is the first ever show. My name is Justin Henry. I'm with Champions Round. You may have seen my face on some of the social media pages, but we're going to get this thing dialed in. A new daily show here talking about everything that you want to hear about, right? It's going to be a morning show, and we'll dive into fantasy, into some other things as far as, you know, if you want to talk about sports in general, culture. We're going to have some guests on as well. So a lot of expertise, a lot of entertainment value from your boy. And so this is going to be kind of some chill vibes. And of course, you know, I'd love to do this thing alone. It's called the Justin Henry Show, but my voice would get annoying after a while. I already know, like, I got this cadence, and after a while, you might get tired of hearing me. So I had to bring some help in, man. My main man, M-Bone HD. What's good, homie?
What's going on? I don't consider myself an expert in anything, but you know what, Justin? I appreciate you having me. Thank you so much. I'm excited. Like you said, Friday, NBA play-in. Obviously got Chicago. Big game for the Bulls tonight. I'm pumped, and I'm happy to be here.
Yo, shout out to the Chicago Bulls, man. Putting in some work the other night against the Heat, bro. Getting that. I know you was stoked about that. That come from behind victory, man. Well, we got a lot to cover today. We'll get into the play-in tournament here in just a minute. Guys, if you have not subscribed to the page, you're not following. Hit a subscribe, hit a like. Show us that you love us, man. Show us that you care. And yes, we're going to be here for a while, all off season, and then even during into the regular season. So make sure y'all stay tuned. Matt, any plans for the weekend, bro? Like it's a spring break's over with now. We got a lot of shit on the agenda this weekend.
Yeah, I'm just kind of locked into the NBA playoffs. Like I was looking at the schedule, and we have 3 or 4 games Saturday. Like it's getting nice. I feel like you have to enjoy this time because before you know it, it's just going to be the dog days of baseball. So for me, just mainly NBA playoffs.
You say that like it's a bad thing. We know you say you react to
I love my baseball. I love my baseball, but
I don't. I hate baseball. I'm not a big baseball fan. We're going to talk about it a little bit on this show too, but not a whole lot, man, because I'm going to stick to what I know. That's NFL, NBA. Guys, and on the Champions Round app, we got stuff that you guys can play, all kind of games. So we're going to be doing that on the show as well. It should be fun. But let's get into the NFL, man. There was some big news yesterday, like kind of big news. The Washington Commanders are no longer with Dan Snyder. Round of applause for all Washington Commanders fans. This move has been a long time coming. Dan Snyder finally selling the team for $6 billion. Matt, not million, not 600 million, $6 billion. I can't forget the 0.05. $6.05 billion. Congratulations to Dan Snyder. You are now out of this. Magic Johnson and crew, a little ownership group headed by Magic Johnson and Josh Harris, who owns the Philadelphia 76ers, the New Jersey Devils in hockey. So adding on to the list there for sale. So I'm sure there's a lot to be had here now. I'm sure the draft is going to come into play. There's going to be some team name decisions that this team has to go through. Matt, what are your thoughts on this acquisition now and Dan Snyder out of there in Washington?
You know, if I had like $50 billion, I would do the exact same thing. I just buy like different teams in different sports. Like that's awesome. I know Commanders fans are over the moon. I remember, was it 2 years ago when there was like the leaking, like the sewage water that was leaking on the field? Like I've never personally been to the stadium, but I've always heard that it's not great. And it seems like the other owners wanted them out too. It's just, this has been a long time coming. And I think
it's one of those teams, bro, that's like, you're a fan of that team, you kind of hate your team. You're like, until the owner's gone, it's almost like the Al Davis Raiders. Like a lot of people were like, until Al Davis dies, I don't want to be a Raider fan. It feels like that for this Washington Commanders team, who obviously they had a whole bunch of stuff going on last year with like the incidences behind the scenes. They had, you know, the sexual harassment stuff going on. This team was ranked the worst team to play for last season, the worst. And so, like, there's a lot to be had and a lot to be changed. So hopefully a little magic does this team a little good. Now, do you think they're going to change the name, or you think they're going to stick with it? Because they've been through 3 different name changes here in the last 5 years.
I think they're going to stick with it. I do. As you said before, it just seems like it took them so long to get to the Commanders. I feel like if they change it now, like I actually was a fan of the Washington football team. I might be on the wrong side of that. I feel like a lot of people might disagree with me, but I like the Washington football team.
It was a little too corny for me. Like, it's a football team. Like, come on, man. You got to get a little more creative than that. So Commanders is cool, but I feel like they're still going to switch it up at some point. The jerseys are kind of fire, though. Yeah. I don't mind the jersey and the team that's put out there. This is set up for this organization to come in and kind of go make a big splash, right? There was talks of Lamar Jackson coming in there and then moving a few pieces to do that. But I like the setup receiver-wise. The defense is good. The NFC East is kind of tough. But this team was right there last year, even with Taylor Heineke in as a starter for a few of the games. So be curious to see how this all plays out with the Washington Commanders. And speaking of like Josh, how nice, like you mentioned, how nice would it be to just be like, yeah, I'm interested in $6 billion. I want to own another team. I already own a basketball team. I own a hockey team. I just want to own another team, man. How nice would that be?
Gosh, are you kidding me? Like that's the dream. Because you would have like a sports, like you'd have a team. Like if you had enough where you could go to a game all throughout the year, like even if it's it's football, not football season. Oh, I'm gonna go watch my baseball team play. I'll go watch my hockey team play. That is literally the dream.
If you're a fan of Washington right now, you're like stoked for another 6-10, 6-11 season. Now you're like stoked. You got a little bit of energy to miss the playoffs and be one of the worst teams in the NFC East. There's a little more optimism for Washington fans now, but we got to move tracks. Let's head to the NBA, Matt. Bulls and Heat on the agenda time. We got 2 elimination games, bro.
Yeah.
2 elimination games. This NBA playing has been crazy, dog.
It has been.
We've seen comebacks, and I feel like we've seen real playoff intensity out of these games. Like, it hasn't been, these are throwaway games. These teams don't deserve to be there. We've seen teams lose on their home court. We've seen 15, 20-point comebacks. It's been kind of interesting here. Now we head into the Chicago Bulls Miami Heat game where the Heat have dropped down to the 8th seed. The Bulls are now the 9th seed, so they'll be on the road in Miami tonight playing this game. And we've seen an elevated level play out of Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, really playing at a strong level there in the fourth quarter of that last game. Is going up against this Jimmy Butler, who we've always seen in the playoffs kind of take it to the next level, but they let their guard down against the Hawks, and it cost them. How are you feeling about this game, dude?
We've played Miami well this year. We really have. And I think Miami might be the biggest disappointment in the NBA. I feel like in terms of like their expectations coming into the season. I remember we played Miami opening night. That was our first game of the season. We beat them. And I was like, okay, let's go. That's, going to be a top 3 seed in the East. And now the fact that they're playing, like their season's on the line, here's the thing, right? As a Bulls fan, yeah, it'd be great to win this game. Do I think we have any chance against Milwaukee? No. I mean, think about what happened last year. We lost in 5.
I don't care. I want to hear. No, I don't want to hear that. I want to hear the analyst take. I want to hear the biased fan take. Y'all are going to win the NBA. I want to hear that. Give me some energy.
It also does not help that we literally just lost to Milwaukee without Giannis, without Chris Middleton, without Pat Connaughton, without Grayson Allen. Like their entire team, we literally lost to their B squad. But I think we have a shot tonight. I do. And I think if Zach LaVine puts up a performance like he did, if DeMar DeRozan can contribute, some of these other guys, we beat Toronto and we shot like 20% from 3. We couldn't grab a rebound. Like I still don't know how the Bulls won that game. I mean, Toronto handed us that win, and I think hopefully we can build on the momentum. I wish DeMar's daughter was coming with because obviously she was the X factor.
Yo, she killed it last game. That Banshee scream. I was like, what is going on this broadcast? And then to find out it was DeMar's daughter the whole time. The whole team is like, yeah, she's the MVP. It really caused like these dudes. If I was standing at the line and I just heard this screech like a death cry, I would miss too. I don't blame those guys. Like that's a tough noise. Like you don't know, you hear the clapping, you hear the boos, you hear all the other stuff, the F-bombs, whatever you want to hear derogatory wise, you hear it. But to just hear a kid banshee scream in the middle of your free throw, that would throw me off too, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Now, this series, man, I see the hat, bro. I didn't rock mine today, but I got one.
That better be on for tonight.
I might. I should
have to
throw
throw
right
that.
now. You know what I'm saying?
That boy on.
Hey, I legit think the Bulls win tonight. Like I think this is a good matchup for the Chicago Bulls, bro, because the Heat, man, at home, they've been susceptible to some L's. Like it's not just something where they can come in and dominate. And this Bulls team has been hot, red hot over the second half of the year. So I'm all about what this Bulls team is doing right now. And the way that they came back against the Raptors lets me know there's still some gas left in the tank. Out of the team, we saw a whole lot of expectations. Now, Are they going to fly DeMar's daughter in? That's the real question, because we got to see this Miami team miss some free throws too. But where I think that the Bulls have an advantage is like on the wing, right? You got Jimmy Butler out there defending, but this team don't have a whole lot of wing defenders. And there's some crazy matchups in here if you think about it. DeMar DeRozan used to play for the Bulls.
Yeah.
Kyle Lowry, DeMar DeRozan used to be teammates on the Raptors. A little bit of rivalry there in this matchup.
I think overall, though, like my question is, I think Jimmy Butler is going to play. I think he's going to play, like he's going to do his thing. He's going to have a big game. I think it helps that it's against the Bulls, a little extra push there. But some of these other guys for the Heat, like, will they step up? Will they make big shots? Like, I think, that for me is the biggest question mark.
You as a Chicago fan have seen Jimmy Butler, right, in action, right, and doing his thing. Is he past his prime, bro? Because to me, it's starting to look like Jimmy Butler is not Jimmy Butler no more. It's that little button that he always thought he could just turn on in the middle of the postseason and just become this dominating factor. It looks like he's starting to lose a little bit of that to me.
Was it the hair at the beginning of the year? Like, was that the downfall?
Is that what the shady face Jimmy, bro? Like, you played too many games, dog.
Yeah.
But I look at it now, I'm like, I know you're capable of it. We saw the lead there, but when it's crunch time, is the rest of the team around you good enough? I'm just not sure they are.
Yeah.
All right, give me an official prediction for tonight. Score, total win. Like, give me an official prediction for the game tonight, Matt. I need to hear it from a Bulls fan, not from me, because I give you the analysis side of it. Give me
the Bulls fan
Bulls prediction.
I'm going to go 101-96 Bulls.
101-96 Bulls.
I think we're going to play a lot better to start the game though. Like, if we go down 20 to Miami, I think it's over. I don't see us coming back from that 2 straight games in a row. It's funny because normally the Bulls are the team that blow like 19, 20-point leads. Like, if you look back at our season, we're notorious for blowing these 20, 21-point leads in like the third quarter. Like, even if we have a 10-point lead come fourth against the Heat, in my mind, it's still a tie game because they're going to come back at some point. They're going to make a run. But I think this team could have folded. They, against Toronto, they had the season. They could have just said, "Hey, you know what? It is what it is. We're down 19 points. We're gonna pack it in. We're gonna see what happens in the offseason. Let's go hit Cancun or whatever." Everyone makes those memes about
1, 2, 3 Cancun.
Yeah, dude, exactly. But they didn't do that, and that proves to me, as you said before, that this team is hungry. I think this team's gonna come out with an edge in Miami. I think they know they have to start better, and I expect them to get it done. There you go. There you go.
I'm about to rock this shit. At least for a little bit.
Prediction.
The analyst prediction says Miami isn't supposed to lose 2 games at home, but Miami has also been one of the worst teams against the spread this year at home. And when you start to look at that, you're like, if 1 + 1 = 2, and this Bulls team is playing the way that they are, I just don't know if the Heat have enough. Like, it took, in order against the Hawks, Kyle Lowry had over 30 points. This is somebody who has been a non-factor pretty much the whole year, and he's having to carry the second team and carry this offense. We shouldn't be seeing Kyle Lowry have 30 points unless that's part of the game plan. And right now, it doesn't seem like it is. So this addition of Pat Bev, who's been a play-in monster, Pat Bev is like a play-in all-star. Last year with the T-Wolves, he's jumping on the banister thing. This year, he's getting wins with the Bulls comeback. So I could see this Bulls team winning. If I'm going to give a prediction, it's going to be 109-102. Bulls win tonight, baby.
I love it.
I give them the win over the Heat, man. But before we get into the second playing game, there was some troubling news, man. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on it because I don't like going into the negative. But there was a little bit of troubling news that just came out this morning. Mikey Williams, bro, he's out, committed. We've seen Mikey Williams dunk in since he's been in like 7th grade. Got arrested this morning, man. It's not a good look for him. Kind of going on that Ja Morant path. So hopefully things get cleared up with him, man. You never like to see somebody going through something like that.
Yeah, it's a tough scene. It's kind of reminds me, not obviously the same stuff, but like what happened with Brandon Miller at Alabama. Like, these stories, I just hate seeing this stuff come out, especially about these young like prospect guys that should just be focusing on hoop.
Imani Bates last year too. Yeah. So these guys got to get their head right, man. Something in the water there in Memphis. So hopefully they get this thing right, man. And one more piece of news real quick. The Dallas Mavericks just got fined a large amount. $750,000 fine for the Dallas Mavericks for tanking towards the end of the year. The league did an investigation on the Dallas Mavericks. We saw them put Luka in for a quarter. They took him out, rested a bunch of their guys, their starters. And now they're paying the price for it. It didn't look like there was any draft picks in there. We'll have to get the official, all the details in here at some point. But $750,000 fine for the Dallas Mavericks. Mark Cuban's pocket's hurting a little bit this weekend.
That was so weird to me because they weren't even eliminated yet. And it was like, I remember it was against the Bulls, and like the entire team sat, and like you said, Luka played the first quarter and like the first possession of the second. And then it was like they just folded. They almost actually won that game. They missed a buzzer beater to potentially win it. But it's, you remember like when we got Lonzo Ball, we got a second round draft pick taken away for tampering. I'd be interested to see like if I'm kind of surprised they didn't take away a draft pick. I don't know. Maybe if they're really trying to, lock down on that type of stuff, especially with, the draft class and.
Yeah, we're going to find out soon. Everybody's going for Wembanyama, and it's like those ping pong balls matter. Maybe they take like 3 or 4 ping pong balls away, like and they start tampering with it like they did with Patrick Ewing back in '85, man. So I don't know, man. Obviously, the Mavericks, there's going to be a lot of turmoil this offseason. We've heard like Luka trade rumors. We've heard Kyrie's probably going to be out of there. The team just fell off from the 3rd seed in the West all the way down to out of the play-in tournament. It's kind of a ride that we didn't expect to see from this Dallas Maverick team right after the trade deadline. Like, this team looked like they were a lock for the playoffs. So one team that didn't look like they were a lock for the playoffs, especially early on, bro, the OKC Thunder. The Thunder are still playing meaningful basketball games here in middle of April in the play-in tournament against the T-Wolves, who are just like Patrick Beverley. This T-Wolves team is like experienced in the play-in tournament now, right? Multiple appearances. And, for a team that was supposed to be playing for the Victor Wembanyama sweepstakes, like OKC Thunder, what do we think this team was? A bunch of young guys. They're playing for draft picks, going to shoot for Victor Wembanyama. Then Chet Holmgren gets hurt, and we're like, oh, there goes the season for the Thunder. They're going to be a 15-win team. And here they are in the playoffs without Chet Holmgren, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander playing at all NBA level, first team probably, playing as one of the best players in the league. Seeing Josh Giddey be a straight-up dog in the play-in game versus a T-Wolves team that has a lot of question marks around it, Matt. This without Gobert, who could potentially miss this game. It's not a lock that he comes back for this game after the shit they had go on in that last game where they're fighting each other, he's throwing punches. But him, Cat, they're kind of questionable to come into this game, Matt. What are you thinking about this game, bro? Because right now I'm starting to think that the Thunder actually have the momentum. They have the advantage. They have less question marks, and they hungry, bro. This Thunder team is hungry, dog.
I love this Thunder team. I love everything about them. Like, they have no business being here. But they don't care. They just got a bunch of young guys that ball out, and they play so well as a team. And I think when you have somebody like Shea and you have someone like Dort, like this team is just – I could easily see it happening. I could. Yeah. And I don't know if you saw the thing about Gobert where he's like, oh, yeah, like back tightness. I wasn't going to play in that Lakers game even before. I'm calling BS on that. I think that was total – that was him just covering his ass. Yeah. But, I will come on here and I'll tell you, we record – I think it was on our last episode – I have never been more wrong about a take when I said that I thought Anthony Edwards was going to go out and ball. And I thought he was going to do it all for himself. That I was going to put 30-plus points. And he was horrible. We'll just keep it how it is. Like, he couldn't shoot. It was like the Anthony Edwards that we saw. He looked like a ghost of himself. So now I have a lot of question marks about this Timberwolves team. And I wonder, if OKC comes in there and plays how they did against the Pelicans, I think there's a real shot that they can get it done tonight.
Like, Ant, I expected so much out of Ant, especially with Gobert out. It was one of those moments where I thought we were going to see, like, all right, Ant's taking the next step as a player. I genuinely thought that. There's no excuse for Gobert. He's out of the paint. This is a team that needed him to play at an elevated level. They were the 8th seed coming in. It's like, all right, now's your time. And we saw him kind of be ghost. Yeah. So there were some concerns. Maybe he's injured. Maybe he's going through some stuff. I don't like to put stuff on young players because in the moment – we see them grow. Sometimes you got to have failures before things become, you take that next step in greatness. But with Ant, man, I really want to see it this game. Like, against a team they should beat.
Yeah.
For all intents and purposes, this Minnesota Timberwolves team should be the 8th seed. They should beat this Thunder team who was the 10 seed coming in. I do have question marks about that, though. Is the size going to be something that this OKC team struggles with, or can they handle it? Are the Timberwolves going to be able to defend without one of their main guys? Jaden McDaniel is out. He broke his hand the last game. Are they going to be able to defend OKC? Because they had, the Pelicans had some trouble, and they're a really good defensive team.
Yeah,
they had some trouble slowing down that Thunder team. So we got to see that come to fruition as well. I feel like this Thunder team, though, they got it. If I had to make a prediction for tonight, I'm going 110, 109. OKC Thunder gets the win.
Towns has to stay out of foul trouble. I mean, that is something that, they cannot afford. Even against, like, when they're like against the Lakers, they look like a completely different team with him off the court. Like, he was by far their best player. I'm going to say, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to go 107, 104. I'm going to go Thunder.
We both rocking with the Thunder. Both rocking with the Bulls, the underdogs. And there's never been a 10 seed that's made the play-in, that's made the actual playoffs.
It's crazy because weren't those 10 seeds the first 10 seeds to win?
Yeah, like ever. So it's kind of nuts that like there might be some 7 seeds that missed the playoffs.
Yeah.
You talk about the Bulls might miss the playoffs, or the Heat, might miss the playoffs. That's to be the 7 seed and just miss it if they lose tonight. That's crazy, my man. But before we got some more stuff to talk about, man. You guys make sure you download the Champions Round app. Head over. There's a promo code you guys can use. Playoffs. It's the NBA playoffs. We just talked about it. Use the promo code. Get 100% deposit match. That's gonna be all that. I'm not gonna throw a whole lot of sponsorship stuff in here because we got a lot of shit to cover, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Like, there's people beefing, and we gotta talk about it because dudes are going rounds, right? Emphasis on the rounds, like Champions Round. These dudes is going rounds right now. CJ McCollum. We just talked about the Pelicans, bro. They got eliminated in a major way by the Thunder. CJ McCollum hit the mic and was clearly taking shots at his teammate, bro. Like, if I was to come on here and be like, man, I hate dudes in Chicago hats who, lean forward and talk into the mic and have headphones and, they don't work hard enough, I would clearly be talking about you. Like, it's very obvious, right? There's no distinction about that. When you say, hey, somebody needs to be on the floor, they need to play together while they're hurt, right? They need to take care of their diet. Guys got to be in condition. CJ McCollum was not holding back. All he was missing was the word Zion. It's kind of like when rappers go through and they do their I took his baby mama, I shot him 3 times. You know who they talking about in the songs. That was a clear shot at Zion from CJ McCollum.
I just think the worst thing that Zion possibly did was go out on that court and start dunking. I just think he should have stayed in the locker room.
Bro's doing 3 windmills. Like, what was he doing?
It's just, if you're not gonna be ready, like, you can't do that and then sit out like a win or go home game. You just can't.
Like, what else are you playing for? If you're able to play and you just don't feel like Zion, to me, that's not a legitimate excuse to not be on the court.
There's too many guys going through stuff right now.
Any type, like, I get the mental health side, and we all got to be, aware of the mental health side of things. I understand that. That's an understandable thing. But to go on the floor right before the playing game and start dunking, to me, you're showing like, I could play. I'm just not going to. Oh, I'm healthy enough to play, but I don't feel like me. I don't feel like Zion. Guess what? Some days I got to get up and go to work. I don't feel like Justin. I might be pissed off at my kids. I might have had something bad for dinner, had the bubble guts, but guess what? I'm going to sit my butt on the show and I'm going to talk about sports because that's what I do. And I get at an athletic level, you want to take care of your body. You want to make sure that you're not going to re-injure yourself or that you can play at the same level. But I don't want to hear that. It's been 4 months on a hamstring injury. We get mad at guys like Keenan Allen, who took 8 weeks in the season to get right on a hamstring injury. We get mad at guys like Jose Reyes, who missed 3 to 4 weeks with a hamstring injury, and then they re-injured themselves later on. Zion, it's been 4 months. Why are we still dealing with the same injury? So I'm not mad at CJ McCollum. Like, at some point, somebody's got to hold him accountable, and CJ McCollum has quietly become a favorite, a J-Hen favorite. Like, to call him out in that manner, I'm not mad at it, dude.
Yeah, I just think they did. The Pelicans front office did all this to, build this team around Zion, and the fact that he wasn't even there for them. And it seems like if I'm his teammate, I'm thinking this guy doesn't have my back. Like, that's just like how I feel.
It feels like that, dude, because we all show up, and you got to know CJ McCollum played most of the season. And so he turned his ankle at some point. He hurt his wrist, elbow. Like, you get hurt over the course of an 82-game season, you're going to deal with injuries. It happens, right? Brandon Ingram was hurt for a lot of the season. He made his way back. It just seems like Zion, it's not that he's not healthy. So you're just not feeling like you. What does that mean? Are you trying to you're leaving your teammates high and dry? And one of the main things that came out was conditioning. That's something that Zion has dealt with his entire NBA career, conditioning and weight. I hope that's not a problem for him. I know that Louisiana food is good, bro. The crawfish, the sausages, the Mardi Gras pasta. Like, I know that stuff is out there. But come on, man. Get it dialed in, bro. We also have more beef. That's why this thing called going rounds. You know what I'm saying? People going rounds. Spencer Dinwiddie talking reckless about Kyle Kuzma, and Kuzma talking about Dinwiddie, saying they're not winners, they're in Brooklyn, and then back and forth between these two. And then Kuzma writes this like diary on Twitter of all these things that Spencer Dinwiddie getting his paycheck in cryptocurrency. Like, what's going on with these guys? Spencer Dinwiddie and Kuzma? Like, I didn't think we needed that beef.
Yeah, I think Kuzma's got a ghostwriter because that was almost too well written. Like that was, I read that and I was like, okay, that was really good. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah.
Like the crypto line was so perfect. I don't think he wrote that.
Shot. He needed like history behind that.
Yeah.
He did his research, bro. Well, it's crazy because both of these teams, you know, like Kuzma obviously is not playing anything for anything right now. The Wizards are out of the playoffs. Spencer Dinwiddie, though, is in the middle. You know, he's about to be in a playoff series. And I know he was on a talk show doing this, but you'd think he'd be a little bit more locked in to stay out of the drama. You know, he was also talking about that Dallas team, and he asked him, I want to get your thoughts on this because he was talking about the Mavericks and how they missed the play-in. They were like, you know what, how do you feel about that, Spencer? And he's like, no lie, I kind of feel happy about it. And he's like, but at the same time, he's like, the ego side of me wants to feel happy about the Mavs missing the playoffs. But, you know, you got friends on the team, yada, yada, yada. But that first feeling, Matt, was like, I feel happy about it. After you grinded an entire season with these guys, that's the feeling you have? I didn't like it.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of that either. I feel like, you know, you went to work with those guys every single day. You see how much work they put in, and to come out and say that you're happy they missed the playoffs, especially when they're in the West and you're in the East, like that doesn't make much sense to me.
Like Spencer Dinwiddie, let's be real. You're a number 3 or 4 option. You're not the guy on the team. Like even on the Nets right now, you're the 3 or 4 option. They didn't need you that much. And you were not the reason they missed the playoffs. It was a combination of things. So yeah, I would, you know, I'm a supporter, and I'll be a supporter of you no matter what you do in your career, Matt. I'll always be a supporter of you. Everybody I've worked with in the past, I'm a supporter, not somebody who's happy to see other fail. And to me, I was like, Spencer, you going off on this Kyle Kuzma thing, you mad at your Mavs, like you need to get it dialed in, bro. One thing I am mad at though, this pissed me off. I'm not gonna lie. This one pissed me off. Paolo Banchero is up for Rookie of the Year. And this is the time when sports writers are going in, and now it's time to vote on the awards. Who's been the best all season long? Paolo Banchero is up for Rookie of the Year. This shit really did piss me off. It looked like he was going to get unanimously voted for Rookie of the Year, which is a prestigious honor. Like when people are like, hey, you the best, you did your thing. He averaged like 25 and 5, whatever the numbers are. Paolo, like a special season for Paolo Banchero. He was up there with some of the greatest rookies of all time early in the season. It's happening. Like he's going to be a star in this league. One writer decided to vote against him. Walker Kessler, the Utah Jazz beat writer, voted for Walker Kessler over Paolo Banchero. I get it. Walker Kessler has had a great season as a rookie, very unexpected. Defensively, he's been on point. And since he's taken in this role in the second half of the year, he really has shined. Like, I got to give Walker Kessler's props. But to take that away from Paolo Banchero, are you kidding me?
Yeah, these writers have – sometimes I feel like they have too much power. Like, that's – yeah, it'd be one thing if it was, like, neck and neck, right? But if you're the only one and you're picking the guy from your team –
Bro,
like,
he's the beat writer for Utah.
So bad.
Come on, man. Like, you're going to show that much bias and ruin. Like, I don't think these media guys always think about the legacy part of these awards. Like, when the guys don't win MVP or they're not selected to All-NBA first team, or when they don't win Rookie of the Year unanimously, like, there's a lot of legacy stuff that's involved, especially with us talking heads, talking about their careers when it's all said and done, how it's viewed in social media. Like, there's a lot at stake, and to just be the guy that says, I want to give Walker Kessler. I've seen him do more. The analytics, that was his excuse. The analytics back up Walker Kessler as the main player. It's like, you ain't watching the games. You're a Utah guy and you're not watching the games. You're being too biased. So I kind of don't like the fact that the media has so much control within these awards, bro. All right. Before we get into something special here, we got a little special thing we got to talk about here too in the next couple minutes, Matt. There's something that happened this week that was very, very special. I want to talk about something that wasn't so special. Ben Roethlisberger's comments about Lamar Jackson. Bro, just look, he was on a podcast, Ben Roethlisberger was. And he proceeded to talk about Lamar Jackson and kind of said some things that everybody continues to say, and it's wrong. Ben Roethlisberger was quoted as saying, Lamar Jackson is not really a threat to beat you in the passing game, in the pocket. And we've seen this debunked numerous times. RG3 came out and later supported and said, they posted his numbers versus Ben Roethlisberger's numbers, Lamar's versus Ben's, and they were the same or worse, like in the pocket. Like, what's this narrative about Lamar, and why is everybody so obsessed with saying he's not a quarterback? He's a former MVP. He's a winner. I don't get it, man. Everybody has an opinion on Lamar from the passing game, and he's proven to be efficient. Why does this keep being an issue?
It's crazy because I feel like he's had to deal with this since the day he was drafted, right? He has always had people hating, people doubting, and it's crazy. Someone that's won the MVP, someone that's been so dominant in our league is still dealing with this. And I mean, why Ben Roethlisberger?
Why?
What is the point of that, man?
Who is Ben Roethlisberger? His big ass, like he was Big Ben. Just because you can shrug off people in the pocket. He didn't have the legs that Lamar has. So guess what? He's hating on Lamar's gift because he used to have to take them hella hard ass hits in the pocket. Big fat Ben towards the end of his career, bro. Like, yeah, you had the pump fake. You were able to stay in the pocket. That's because you couldn't get out of the pocket, Ben. So I get it, though. You know, there's a lot of criticism for Lamar. He's going through a time right now where the money's talking, so all the negative is starting to come out. But to see Ben kind of hating on him when early in his career, Ben was considered kind of mobile, right? Like Ben Roethlisberger was considered a little bit more mobile early in his career. To kind of see him throw shade on Lamar early in his career too, I don't really like. We haven't really had to see Lamar be forced to be thrown for the pocket. You know what I'm saying? So, Ben, just stay retired, bro. All the stuff that Big Ben had in his career, and he wants to start talking. Oh, we could deep dive into Ben. I don't want to do that here on the show.
Yep.
We could deep dive into Ben, and it would be ugly. All right, now to some fun stuff, Matt. I was watching this week. I was scrolling through Twitter, and I just so happened to be watching, some highlights or something. I was like, "What's going on? This hot dog challenge? There's like this new hot dog challenge out for the MLB parks, right? The season's just started. There's been new food out. Things are going crazy. I'm watching this video, and this girl is like shaking her head. She's saying like, nah, I can't do this. Like, I don't want to eat any more hot dogs. I'm done. And I look in the background, Matt, and I see this dude in a Toronto Blue Jays jersey. I was like, bro, he looks kind of familiar. Who was that, Matt?
Let me just say, okay, first things first, it is a Marcus Stroman jersey. It's my girlfriend's. He now plays for the Chicago Cubs. So I was still repping my team. I will let me see if Jordan.
Yeah, have her come in, bro, because we got to talk about this, bro.
She'll give you a better.
We got to have her.
She'll give you a better explanation. But there was some renovations done. They added some new food places to the ballpark.
Make sure you intro her the right way too, because she's a viral star now. I seen her on TV, seen her in social media clips. Like, you got to introduce her the right way, bro.
I'm gonna hand the headset and the mic over to her. But this is Jordan Kelly. She works for TSN Bar Down, otherwise known as the Hot Dog Girl. She's a food, what would you say, a food expert, like a ballpark food?
The Hot Dog Girl. So the new name, Jordan with TSN, coming into the chat. Jordan, hello. I'm Justin. How are you doing? Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Nice to officially meet you, Hot Dog Girl. How has this week been treating you since you've been now coined Hot Dog Girl here over this last week?
It's been crazy. Being the glizzy queen, I guess, now of baseball. It's been wild. Every day, like a new platform basically will like share my story, and I'll think it's dying down, and then like this morning, like MLB Life posted it, and I was like, oh my god, here we go.
What's the biggest station that you've been on so far? Like, obviously I've seen you on Twitter and you've gone viral, but like, where's the biggest like network or station that you've seen yourself on?
MLB Network.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's on International insane. Talk yesterday. So yeah.
So you just decided one day you're gonna wake up and like just go crazy with the glizzy. Decided, you know what? For every home run they hit, I'm just gonna.
Oh, I think it's glitching out a little.
Oh, it should fix
Lost
it.
you a little bit there.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry about that. And sometimes
good.
the internet gets a little tricky on these live things. But where did this glizzy idea stem from? Like, did you just come up with this out of nowhere? How did this all start?
So when me and Matt went to Arizona for spring training, I noticed that so we went to the Giants game first, and they had like macaroni in a helmet. And I was like, okay, that's kind of cool because I'm usually used to like ice cream in a helmet. And then it kind of did pretty well. And then we kept going to spring training games, and I would just see like different foods, and it became a thing. Like, yeah, we're going to see baseball, but at this point, we're just trying to find like the craziest foods now because those are just taking off. I think it was the beer bat, right, at Sloan Park, with like, it was a margarita, right? That one really took off, and so from there, when they announced that they were having the poutine dog at the Rogers Center this year, I was like, okay, like I gotta try that now.
The poutine dog. So explain it. The poutine dog. Like, I don't know what that is. I'm out here in California. I barely know what a poutine is. So what's a poutine dog?
So a poutine dog is okay. So I had to make my own because I don't eat meat, so I didn't buy the one that they sell there. I had to get a veggie dog, but it's a hot dog, like with a bun. And it has like cheese curds, gravy, and I think it has like little hash browns in it.
Oh, Fat Boy's dream.
Yeah. So, but then I had to make my own. So mine was actually like French fries, like big French fries, gravy and cheese, just tossed on like a veggie dog. Yeah.
That's insane. Yeah. Like, I've done some food challenges before. Like, I did the Fat Burger like 4XL challenge and beat it. But like, to eat one of those hot dogs, I saw it. It wasn't like a small hot dog, like a small hot dog you get at a baseball game normally. That thing was huge. How many of them did you actually eat? Because they scored a lot of runs.
I only could eat one. Also, okay, so it was funny because I was like, hey, Matt, like, should we just get a bunch now? So then, like, and bring them back to the seats and just have them with us and just make them while we're sitting there. And I think it was like, what, the 6th inning or something like that. And still there was no home runs hit. And then Matt Chapman hits it. I was like, all right, guess we're going to get the hot dogs. And we get to the front of the line, and we had to wait in this big line. Get to the front. He's like, we have one hot dog left. And the only other hot dog they had that was a veggie dog was like laying on the counter, like a gross one. And I was like, oh God. No. So yeah, they only had one hot dog, sadly, but the one hot dog filled me up. It was a lot.
Well, your reaction was crazy because like as you're eating it, I couldn't tell in the background. Tell me if I'm wrong. I know didn't they score them? They had the most home runs in that time, like a franchise record for home runs during that time or something like that, something crazy like that.
Yeah, so while I was making the hot dog, Springer and Kiermaier went back to back. So at that point, I was like, oh my God, it's 3 hot dogs now. And I'm still on the first one. We get back to the seat. And then Bichette and Kirk also hit home runs. So they set the franchise record for most home runs in a home opener.
Oh, great. On the day you decided to become the Glizzy Queen, now they're setting franchise records. Well, Jordan, it's been crazy to hear that story, and hopefully keep us in tune with the next challenge. I'm gonna have Matt bring you on again, talking about the next challenge you guys do. Hopefully, it's not eating glizzies for 7 hours.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, take care. Thank you.
Thanks.
Crazy story to hear, man. That was insane, man.
All right, I'm back.
Insane to hear the Glizzy Queen, man. How does it feel your girlfriend be known as the Glizzy Queen?
It's just one of those things where, you plan to just go to a ballpark, and, that's what I love about her. You never know what's going to happen. I missed like 4 home runs, but it was totally worth it. It was worth every last second of it.
You should have did a reaction to that. Right?
I know.
Reaction King, you should have did a reaction to that too, bro.
I will say one thing, some inside information. So while that video was like 3 minutes long that we were filming, we had to cut it up. Yeah. And while like that video was going on, the Cubs came back from a 7-0 deficit, hit a grand slam, and I was trying to get the tweet out. So at one point, I was holding the phone, recording her, and if you watch like the full recording, you'll see the phone start slowly because I was trying to type out a tweet on my phone. On the other hand, little did I know that whole story was going to go so viral, and my video skills were not up to par.
Hey, no, they were up to par. Your videos are all over the place right now, bro. So don't knock your video skills, bro. They were immaculate, man. Viral hit, the Hitmaker right here. That's going to be your new nickname, bro. The Hitmaker. All right. Well, let's get into some stuff now. That was kind of cool, but this is insane, right? We're going to call this is just Justin, right? This is just insane. I got to start to get these little segments down. This is just insane. I kind of like that. This will be a segment we talk about some stuff that's a little on the crazy side. So the play-in tournament has started. We talked NBA a whole lot, but we got to talk about a couple players. Russell Westbrook is now on the Los Angeles Clippers. They're playing the Phoenix Suns. Should be a fantastic matchup with at least star power. But he has two ways to get a ring. And we've seen this happen before. And this one's kind of cool. Both of them would be LA rings, the Los Angeles Lakers or the Clippers. He could get a ring either way, Matt. And to me, this is cool, man, because he put in work. I always kind of respected the fact when they give out rings like this, because you do put in a lot of work on a team. But it's Russell Westbrook. Like, which team do you think he really wants to get the championship ring from?
Oh, I definitely think like the Clippers, but it would be so funny to see him get a ring and see the Lakers fans' reaction in Laker Twitter. If the Lakers won it all and then Russ gets a ring from that, it's hard because even somebody let's go back to the Spencer Dinwiddie story, right? Dallas is in the playoffs. Is he saying like, oh yeah, if we got eliminated, like I don't want to see Dallas win it all? Like,
right.
Even though he would get a ring, like, I don't know. I think it's, we even touched on it, but like the whole Patrick Beverley situation with the Timberwolves, or excuse me, with the Lakers this year as well. Like, there is some guys here that get moved during the season and then put themselves in a position to get a chance at 2 shots of a ring.
Hey, I'm not going to lie. A ring is a ring. Bro, give me a championship ring. This would be Russ's first ring. Like, it would be a little bit different because if it came through the LA path, like Russ has had already so much like, oh, he's stat padding. He didn't really earn it. Like a lot of negative stuff about Russ's career. But to get let's be real. Like the Clippers have a very tough road to get a ring. Yeah. The Lakers do too. I know I'm a Laker homer, but like the Lakers do too. But it seems more likely that the Lakers could get a ring than the Clippers, as it is with Paul George being out. But if Westbrook was to get a ring with the Lakers, like you meant, Laker Nation would go crazy. Like, how are we gonna give this guy a ring? But
it would be so fitting though for like Westbrook's career and everything. For if his first ring was through like the Lakers, that would be, honestly, I think I'm kind of rooting for that at this point.
See, NBA championship Russ, like everybody gets on KD for going to the Warriors and like actually earning it. Russ would get a bus ring, like just right in the back of the bus. I'd be cool with it though. Pat Bev too, man. Pat Bev, obviously, you wearing a Chicago hat. You kind of counting on he would be counting on the Lakers too. The Chicago team ain't gonna do it.
It's so funny. I used to hate Patrick Beverley. Like, I think he's one of those guys that when he's on your team, you love him, but if he's on the other team, you can't stand the guy. Now I love Patrick Beverley, and he really has turned this team around since he joined us. But I'm rooting for, like I said, Lakers, if the Bulls gonna get eliminated, let's be honest here. But the Lakers, I'm rooting for the Lakers at this point. Like, Patrick Beverley gets a ring, to see Westbrook get a ring. It'd be so funny that both those guys got rings.
I love it. Give Pat Bev a ring, give Russ a ring, because that means the Lakers won, and I'll be very happy about that. But what Pat Bev, bro, before we move on to something else, Patrick Beverley, bro, he has been making TikTok waves recently with his podcast, telling some crazy stories. His is kind of funny, man. Like, if you haven't checked it out, Pat Beverley's podcast, go check it out. Shit is dope, man. And he's kind of funny. But there's been this new wave of like NBA players who aren't like old retired players, guys who are playing and recording a podcast either the same day or the next day. We got him, Paul George, Draymond Green. Draymond Green's always talking mad shit. Like the night after something happens, he's going and talking about it. And then we got like Paul George who's talking about some random like off topics. It's funny because like it kind of like defines all of them. Pat Bev's a talker, natural. Draymond Green's always debating somebody, and Paul George, for all intents and purposes, I'm not a big Paul George fan, but like it seems like he's kind of off, like a little off. He's talking about stuff that we were talking about 3 months ago. Like, which one of these guys? I don't know if you've seen all 3 of these, but which one of these 3 do you like podcast wise?
The Patrick Beverley one's really good, and that's like those clips pop up on my TikTok all the time, especially now with him being on the Bulls. But just kind of get an insight of like the NBA. And the Draymond Green one, I think Draymond's like a smart guy and he's setting himself up. He knows he's getting in front of. I think, isn't he on like ESPN or is it on TNT? Is it
it's
TNT?
I honestly,
TNT. I'll see on like the analysts and stuff like that, just talking. And I assume, after Patrick Beverley, what was it, last year, 2 years ago, where I think was it last year before the season when they were having him on like First Take and stuff like that, where these guys are starting to see like, okay, maybe after basketball, this is an avenue, and getting into podcasts is a good start for that. Now, the Paul George one, I think Paul George just got in because everyone else. I think he was just trying to join the hype train. I really do, man. Let's be honest here. Like,
he doesn't seem like he's not a character.
He's not a character. He's not like a big social media guy. Like, he's not, making it. Draymond Green does not surprise me. Patrick Beverley,
At all.
I'm not surprised at all. Like I'm
Draymond
sure
Green loves the
Dylan
sound of
Brooks
his
will
own
probably have
voice.
one next
Yeah.
this offseason. Dylan Brooks is starting one too.
Dylan Brooks, everybody, oh my God, he would be getting killed online, bro. Draymond Green will just sit there. And I have never listened to a full episode of Draymond Green's podcast, but what I imagine it is like 3 hours of him just talking the whole time, beefing with everybody, talking about the Warriors and how they're the greatest team ever and how he knows the ins and outs and nobody else knows basketball like him. That's what I envision Draymond. I imagine Pat Bev's probably like 45 minutes to like, 30 to 45 minutes just going back and forth storytelling. He's a great storyteller.
Yeah.
Like I love watching Pat Bev's like little clips. They're funny, hilarious. And then I just imagine Paul George kind of sitting like on the sideline, like, everybody else carrying the show, bro. It really feels like that. I mean, they had this clip, and it was one of them was, he was talking about NBA versus NFL players. He was saying, oh, how NBA players can go play NFL, but NFL players can't go play in the NBA. To me, I was like, you know what? Actually, I don't mind that. Like, it's probably an accurate assessment because I was trying to think of players, bro. And he named a few like Russell Westbrook, LeBron that could go play NFL. I was trying to think like what NFL players would be terrible in the NFL, or in the NBA. Because like if you put Aaron Donald he's a killer in the NFL. You put Aaron Donald in the NBA, bro. Who is he? Like
there was a photo that came out. I don't know if it was this year or last year of Myles Garrett and Steph Curry after a game. I don't know if you saw this photo, right?
I didn't.
And it's like, Steph Curry goes over and says what up to Myles Garrett after the game. And in your mind, Myles Garrett's this massive defensive end, one of the best players in all of football. And Steph Curry is like this short guard.
Yeah.
Steph Curry was like right here on him. Like you don't realize like these guys, like they're so tall. Every single one of them out there is so tall. And like you said, some of these guys that are like 6 feet, 5'11", whatever, that are these monsters, like, come on, they wouldn't have a shot in the NBA.
No shot, bro. Like, I couldn't see like, Jair Alexander, 5'10", scrawny, just going and playing up against like even a De'Aaron Fox, like similar speed. These guys aren't the same athlete, dog. Like, who could in the NBA? Like, obviously the obvious names are like LeBron, Westbrook. We're talking about Zion a little bit. That boy could probably play like D-line. He'd probably be a mean D-lineman.
Oh my
be a
God.
mean D-lineman, dog. Or like, imagine Derrick Henry coming up full head of steam. He would be so clumsy on the court. What position do you think Derrick Henry would play if he was to play like in the NBA? Derrick Henry. He's 6'3", 250. Like,
where would you even put him?
I know he can't shoot, bro.
I mean,
he's probably like the ball would deflate.
Ain't no way people over. The offensive fouls would be flying.
He would just be in just for fouls. That's it. One of the enforcer, right? That'd be his role on there. That's crazy, man. Now to think about it though, like I think there's a few hoopers like LeBron, obviously Russ. I feel like would be good. Like De'Aaron Fox seems like a corner for sure. Like I feel like he would be a great cornerback, like one of those tall, lanky ones. So there's some guys there. All right. We talked about it. We're going to do it, right? We got the playing games tonight. Let's do this. The champ is here, right? The champ is here. We're going to play Daily Dozens here on the Champions Round app. You guys can play with us too. Use the code PLAYOFFS. Download the Champions Round app. We're about to go into this thing called Daily Dozens. This is what the app looks like. We're going to play Daily Dozens. It gives you a chance to get 12 props right, so 12 player props right. If you get all 12 right, you 100x your money. So you can play for free. You can play for paid. There's a paid version. Today, I'm going to do some picks, man. And my goal, this champ is here segment has to stay because one thing we're going to do on this show, Matt, we're going to go 12 for 12.
We are.
I ain't going to lie. We're going to go 12. There's going to be a day where we go 12 for 12. So you guys download the app. The promo code is down below. You guys, like I said, $100 deposit match. And it's not just the Daily Dozen. Like there's so many game modes. This is probably the best gaming fantasy app that there is. There's no other app that allows you to play games with your friends against others online. Like this is the way to do it. So let's get into Daily Dozen. All right. Let's see if we can play the first prop tonight. Zach LaVine, total points sitting at 26.5. Matt, I'm gonna let you carry us for this one because you get all the Bulls props tonight. All the Bulls will carry us tonight.
Come on now. Zach LaVine is gonna drop 30+ points tonight. He will. Zach LaVine, I heard him say, let's go to Miami.
Even up against Jimmy Butler?
Give me my warm weather clothes. I think he said after the game, I'm going to Miami. We're going to Miami. Give me the over on Zach LaVine's points. That's easy.
I'm rolling with you. I'm rolling with you there. Over on Zach LaVine. Jimmy Butler with the face, of course, the no mustache and the extensions there. His total sitting at 27.5. He went way under this total against the Hawks. What do you think about this one?
I'm on the fence. I'm going to go 27. I'm going to go under. I think he's going to hit 27. But I could also, yeah, I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to stick with my gut instinct. I'm going to say 27.
I'm going to go makeup game Jimmy. I think we see the best of Jimmy Butler. I think he has a bounce back game. They're at home again. Give me the over in that, and 27.5. I like the over for Jimmy. I think he gets to the 30-point marker. DeMar DeRozan, without his daughter there this time, his total sitting at 22.5 points. How you feel about this one, dog? Because this seems like right about DeMar DeRozan type range.
Yeah, I'm going to go over just barely. I wouldn't be surprised if it falls at like 21, 22. Yeah. But I think, for me, if I was, making my prediction here, I'd say it's anywhere like between 21 to 24, 25 points for DeMar.
Any elimination game, DeMar DeRozan, I don't think he's getting anything less than 20 and like 21.5. Like that's a little too low for me. Give me the over on DeRozan. 20.5 for Tyler Hero, who we always see come alive during the playoffs too. What do you think about Tyler Hero's number?
I'm going to take the over. I think players like Hero, they have to step up tonight. They have to have big games. And also, Tyler Hero, he shows up in the big games. He does. Even when he was like young and he was a rookie and all that stuff. It's funny because I actually have like a Miami Heat Vice Tyler Hero jersey in my closet.
Those are so clean,
that is not coming out tonight, though. That is staying in the closet.
I might have to borrow that one from you, bro. Hey, those ones are clean, and they used to have the shoes that came with it too, like the LeBron Miami Vices. Like there was some clean outfits in that pink and pink and black. Like
yeah.
That was kind of cool. So, all right, we'll rock with the over on that one. I'm all over so far. Vucevic. Vucci Man is what I like to call him. Total sitting at 16. Vucci Man. 16.5 for my guy Vucci Man. What are we looking at? I'm going to rock with the under on this one.
I'm going to go under too. I want to go over here, but I think Bam's a tough matchup. I'm going to go under. I think he's going to be at like 14 or 15 points. Hey, let me just put this out there. I hope it goes over. I do.
Yeah. And then speaking of Bam sitting at 19.5. I'm gonna go with the over on Bam. I'm gonna go with the under on Bam because I think Jimmy and Tyler Hero carry.
Yeah, I'm taking the under as well. 17.5. I might go over there, but at 19, you're saying that he's going to get 20 points. For my sake,
Bam's like a 16, 17 point guy. Yeah. I kind of feel good about that. Anything more than that, it's a little bit like I don't see Bam dropping 27 this game, 24. Like there's more of a chance he gets 14, 15. All right, heading into Minnesota now. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander sitting at 33.5. Holy smokes, 33.5 points. They're going to need all of those points if they're trying to get the win tonight. Is it happening?
Shai had like 5 or 7 points in the first half and then erupted in the second quarter and scored like 15 or 18. I don't think he hit 30 in that last game. But there's a part of me that's thinking like if they're going to win this game, he's going to have to put up like 34, 35 points. And for that sake, and the fact that I already said I'm picking the Thunder, I'm going with the over.
Got to stick with your guns. You can't play defense. We're not playing defense on this. On this show, we don't play defense. 33.5. I'm rocking with 33.5. I think he goes over that tonight. I wouldn't be surprised if Shai got 40 tonight. And with Jaden McDaniel out, like to me, that opens things up. Anthony Edwards isn't going to be able to contain him all night. He's probably going to have some Josh Giddey assignments anyway. Speaking of Anthony Edwards, his total's at 26.5. They need a big game from him tonight, bro. Like he has to bounce back. I'm gonna lean under though. For whatever reason, I think something's bothering him.
This is like a huge storyline because if he has another poor performance, and then the off season's here, and all the question marks about the Timberwolves, and obviously, he was a first overall pick. He needs to show up tonight. I'm gonna go over. I bet on him last time he burned me, and hopefully he does not do that twice in a row.
Twice in a row. Getting burned twice in a row never feels good. I'm kind of, I kind of get like those baby Kobe vibes from Anthony Edwards. So that's the reason why I'm like, we saw Kobe struggle a little bit earlier on in his career. It doesn't mean it's not an indicator for the rest of your career, but it's not a good sign. Who has had a strong start? Josh Giddey. His total sitting at 20.5. And, he does a lot more than just score, but 20.5 points. How you feeling about that one?
I think that's a little too high for me. I'm going to take the under there. Like you said, he facilitates that offense. He does a great job. He was really big in that in that last win. I mean, I don't. You said foul where he got like shoved in the stomach or in the,
Yeah,
and then he
somewhere.
was ready to go.
He's
and
scrappy.
then
That's that Aussie in him, man. I heard the press. Like when you hear him talk, you're like, oh, that dude's from Australia. You forget about that. Like he's a solid dude, and those guys don't play. Them Aussie rules, they play that rugby out there. So Aussie rules a little bit more rough and tough. I'm gonna go with the under though. I think that he hits the under. Excuse me, I think he hits the over in that one. I'm gonna go opposite. I think that they need him and Shea in order to win this game, and I got him winning this game. Karl Anthony Towns, 23.5 points. He is questionable to play tonight. I think I'm gonna go with the over on that one. I think Cat steps it up tonight.
Yeah, he was really impressive. I think in our last video, I picked him to go under in his points, and that was a mistake. So for that reason, I'm gonna go the over here.
I mean, we see this Timberwolves team. We seen them in the play-in. Like we seen Cat doing the, hey, yo, go get him, right?
He changes his voice.
He's like, yeah, we had a good game today. Yeah, go get him. He channels that inner Kobe, right? I think we see Cat channel that inner Kobe tonight, bro. Jalen Williams, his total sitting at 15.5. He's been playing pretty well as well, but I'm gonna go with under on him, even though he's been playing at a pretty high level.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the under as well here.
And then obviously we see Mike Curry, aka Mike Conley. Like, where did he come from last game? He couldn't miss, bro. Like Mike Conley was dropping threes left and right. Almost, I mean, he went to the line and was clutch. His total sitting at 14.5 right now. I think we got to go over on Mike Conley.
Yeah,
right?
After that, I mean, it would be disrespectful to take the under here. I'm going over as well.
Yeah. I feel like he steps it up when it's playoff time. Sometimes these vets just know how to up their game a little bit, and Mike Conley's one of those guys. So we are going to go 12 for 12 on those picks, guys. If you missed them, just hit the rewind button. We went through all 12 picks. You can play with us daily dozen on the Champions Round app. Play for free, play for money. You name it, play against us. Challenge us. If you think you can beat us, go ahead. Maybe we'll give away a Masters hat or something.
Yeah,
somebody beats us. Let us know in the comments what your total was. We'll look it up and check. But let us know what your total was in the comments. We'll give away a Masters hat. If you guys beat us, our number, which I don't think you're going to, I'll be in the free one, so you'll be able to see my name. If you beat us, we'll give you a Masters hat. So there it is there. All right, man, before we get out of here, there was a little bit of kind of some fun news. Jake Paul and Nate Diaz are going to be boxing, bro. Nate Diaz going from the octagon to the ring. They're going to be fighting later this year. I thought we were done with Jake Paul, bro. We saw him get beat. I thought we were done with him.
I think we are just inching our way closer and closer to a Conor McGregor, Jake Paul boxing match.
God. Can we get these guys out of here?
This was talked about years ago, and everyone laughed at Jake Paul. And Conor McGregor's, a loss against Michael Chandler away from potentially looking at a payday against Jake Paul. And Nate Diaz, the guy, I'm not sure how this is going to turn up, honestly. Like,
he's got a chin, bro. We know that.
Yeah, we know he's got a chin. Will he even show up for the fight? But
he's out here he's from my area. He's from NorCal.
Is he really?
Yeah, I think he's from Stockton. He's always out here in Sac too.
Yeah, him and Nick. I mean, they're going to be characters, and this thing's going to do a lot of pay-per-view buys. Like, there is no question. Like, this is going to be a lot of people, even people that don't really like Jake Paul, are going to be tuning in for this and hoping that he gets knocked out.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be tuning in. I ain't watching that shit. Yo, it's been a dope episode number 1 of the Justin Henry Show. For myself and Matt, man, appreciate you guys tuning in. Rock with us daily. We'll be back next week. This will become a daily show, as we talked about earlier. Shout out to the whole Champions Round team, everybody in the background helping this thing get underway. We're gonna have some fun on this show, but it's Friday. We got to get out here for the weekend. We'll see you on the next one. Peace out, y'all.